Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mary and Martha podcast, where we talk about a life of consecration. We are joined here today by Tasoni Sherry Salidis, and she's going to go ahead and introduce herself, please.
Hi, Maria.
Hello.
I'm blessed to be here with you today.
Thank you for coming.
My name is Sherry Salidis, as just mentioned. I am married to Father Reweis Salidis, and we live in Orlando, Florida. We serve in St. Rebecca Coptic Orthodox Church. And a little bit of my background, I was born and raised in Egypt. I graduated pharmacy school there from Cairo University, and then I got married there, and I moved to Canada afterwards. And I've lived there for the majority of my life since after.
Very nice. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Same here.
Thank you. Okay, so Tasoni, talk to us a little bit about how you and Abuna met.
We grew up in the same church. We have not known each other when we were young. We just got to meet in school. We were in the same school. And after I finished my degree, we got engaged and then married. And then we moved together to Canada.
Very nice. And talk to us a little bit about how long Abuna has been a priest.
Abuna has been a priest for almost 17 years now. He was ordained in 2008.
Very nice. Almost at the milestone, 20 years.
Okay, we have plenty of milestones.
A lot of milestones.
Before and after.
Very nice. A question that we get asked a lot is whether the wives have any say when a priest is called to priesthood when it comes to making the decision. So how does that work?
I'm sure it would be a yes. Since we got married, we have decided to make, every important decision in life together. Especially decisions that are long-term commitments, and priesthood is actually one of them. So yes, I was involved in this decision from the beginning.
Was it an easy decision to make?
It was okay. It wasn't. It was an acceptable decision for us to make, but we really wanted to see God's hand and God's call in it before we make a final move. So yes, looking back, it was okay.
And how did you feel during Abuna's 40 days at the monastery? What was that experience like?
Those were a long 40 days. I remember them very, very well because I have had lots of, events happening during the 40 days. Since we got married, I have not done, important moves like this by myself. This was probably the first time we were moving from Canada to the US. The boys were very young, so I was trying to finish up everything up north and starting up everything down south by myself. Actually, fun fact, I was planning on coming with the same time Abuna would come back from the monastery, but I didn't last for longer than 2 weeks over there, and then I came down and started everything down here. So they were long. But they were blessed. When he came back, he was so happy in the monastery, so I was also happy for him.
Yeah. So speak to us a little bit about the boys. What was their reaction to the ordination?
The boys were very young when we made this decision, so they didn't really have that much input except, are you okay that Baba would become a priest? Just a very simple, quick question. Mina was 6 when Abuna was ordained, and Anthony was only 8 months. So when we came here, you could feel during the 40 days, their emotions were they were missing Dad at home. But I think when he came back from the monastery, everything was just adapted really quickly.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long for them to adapt after, but I guess maybe you can ask them now. They're probably happy with the decision, even though they did not make it.
Nice. But overall, we see that the whole family is kind of involved in the
Yes, thank God.
process, in the decision making. Very nice. Okay, so tell us a little bit about how priesthood has affected your life, because obviously, Yani, it's not direct for you. You're not the priest, but you're obviously, that's your husband. That's the person you live with, you have a family with. So how has Abuna's service kind of affected your life?
To start with, having a priest in a family in the house, it's such a great blessing. It's kind of like a, it's you always feel the reverence in the house all the time. It was a great blessing for us. I have witnessed God's hand in lots of our main decisions. Sometimes you want to feel this peace in your heart about something. You're not really waiting for a sharp yes or no answer for decisions, but having this peace in your heart was making you, easy to make these decisions, or so we have gone through quite few of seeing God's hands clearly in our lives since then.
Nice. What a blessing. Okay, we're going to take it back a little bit. I keep calling you Tasoni. So can you
Yes.
explain to us what that word means and why it's used for someone in your position?
Well, Tasoni is a Coptic word, means my sister. And I guess we are all called to be brothers and sisters in Christ. And so I'm one of you. So I'm one of your sisters, one of many sisters. So it's just easier for people to call me Tasoni. And well, sometimes it's you would be not knowing what to call someone, whether taunt or directly by her name, or so this is kind of an easier way to address the priest wife.
Do you like being called Tasoni?
Yes, I do. I don't mind from when for those people who don't really who can't really call me by my name, I think Tasoni is easier. Well, my name, I like my name. I love it. So if you are allowed to call me by my name, I'm like, please go ahead.
So speaking of Tasonis, do Tasonis have a specific role? So when the priest gets ordained, obviously he has a specific role to take care of the congregation. Do Tasonis, are they entrusted with anything specific, or is it just to support the priest?
So when Abuna got called for the priesthood, he is to become the father of the entire congregation. And like in any family, there is a role for all of us to do, whether we are the children or the parents. So Abuna, as the father, has so many responsibilities in the church. So I'm not going to be the mother in the church, but I will be the mother at home. Supposedly, when Abuna was called for the service, I would be helping him carry this service easier, with less stress. So my main role as any mother is at home, taking, good care of the kids, spiritually, academically, and, socially and everything. So this would make, Abuna's life much easier at home. So, and make his life less stressful at home than, because, outside he would be seeing lots of problems and issues he may be dealing with, but this should not be the case at home. So yes, I do have a role at home, again, as any mother. Abuna does have a role at home too. Like I'm not neglecting his role, like his presence and his guidance and emotional support is very important for the entire family. But like maybe I would take a little bit of more responsibility into school activities, driving and stuff like that when the kids were young. Now I don't have to worry about this problem anymore. But if you're talking about service in the church, if the Tasoni has a certain specific role in the church, as I mentioned, like I am a sister to every member in the congregation, I'm not going to change myself. So I used to be like a Sunday school servant before I even got married, like when I was during college time. So I did continue on this service. And again, Abuna, as the father in the church, he can assign services to all the servants. I am one of them. So if he sees suitable for any of the services that I would be, taking on, like he would tell me. I personally had continued with my service, but the other way around doesn't really work. So like if it's I'm not usually a Sunday school servant, or like this is not my main service. I like once Abuna became a priest does not mean that I am automatically placed in the service.
So, would you like to share with us what are some services you do?
Well, in the first beginning, I used to help. I like statistics, data, numbers. So I was taking care of some like of the administrative services. I want to say the preparation for the service from the background. So like I used to to take care of arranging the visitations. Keeping the family on track and stuff like that. But now as we move on, I'm not taking care of this anymore. But the services I'm doing, I used to be a Sunday school servant for different age groups. I used to cover for preschool, elementary, middle and high. And now my service is mainly for the pre-servants coordinator. And I love them.
Raising the future generation.
Through God's grace, God willing.
Thank God. Okay. What do you think is the most rewarding part of being a Tasoni?
Well, being in this position, you may know more things than anyone would know, even if it's not directly spoken to you. But you can feel that some people are when they are away from God and from the church, and the service helps them come back. This is one of a kind reward. You're happy, as the Bible says, you're not the bridegroom, but you're happy for the bridegroom. So working in the field of the service and seeing God's hand bringing back people to the church and to his bosom is very rewarding for us as stewards. So one of the very, very rewarding things you would see is when you see someone hearing about the Coptic Church from a member from school or work or something, and then they would come and ask about the faith, and they would go into catechumen classes and they learn, and then the day they are baptized is such a unmeasurable reward for me as a priest wife. Yeah. And I'm sure it is for Abuna too, but
of course,
we get touched more. Things like this.
Thank you for that. Okay, we know that you're a part of St. Rebecca Coptic Orthodox Church here in Orlando. When you look at the life of St. Rebecca and her 5 children, what is one virtue or characteristic that you can learn from her that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, Saint Rebecca and any other mother from the saints and martyrs we have in the Coptic Church, we are very, we have very rich, history. For a mother to be, this steadfast in the faith and, encourage her children and bring them up to martyrdom, one by one in front of her eyes, and making sure that she does not get martyred herself until she knows where they are going. I think this is something that is very, it's a virtue that we as mothers we need to keep looking and striving to attain. I'm sure she didn't go and tell them, okay, we're going to martyrdom tomorrow. Be prepared. I'm sure she had planted in them the seed of faith throughout the years. She had watered it, as like this would be with for any, like Christian family, we're bringing this faith into life in the house and with the help of the church and so on. So for her to be, in this position at the end, I think it was not an easy emotional thing for her, but it was a natural reward to what she has done with her kids throughout the years. And I also admire the kids themselves, having, this seed of faith and growing with them. For them to come to this point wasn't also easy. So I hope we all learn from this.
Yeah, I love that. 2 more questions.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not too hard.
Hope so.
What is one thing that you learned from another Tasoni, priest wife, mother, whatever it may be, another woman in service that you have kept close to you during your time of service?
I have learned to look at things positively, and it's important to learn from anyone around you. Something good. You can find something good in everyone, so it's good to learn from them. But actually, a very dear something to me is when I was in pre-servants, we had a teacher or a servant who used to teach us this psychology. So, and I remember a saying for him. He said, that firmness is a hand of iron covered with a silk glove. So it's very important to be disciplined, to be firm, but with kindness and love. This is something I have witnessed, with some of the servants and the Tasonis that had served me. I'm keeping this. And one other thing is I have learned from one of them is how beautiful her smile was in any situation. So I try to keep my peace in some situations and my smile, and I hope I'm successful in this. Yes. Most of the time. Hopefully, most of the time.
You are. So if someone approaches you saying that her husband was called to priesthood, what is one piece of advice that you would like to leave with her?
First of all, I'm going to talk out of my personal experience. You want to make sure that this is what you really want to do. Seek God's help, seek guidance, pray a lot about it. Make sure that this is, this is what you want to continue on, because this is going to be like a for life decision, Once you are sure of this call and you feel that this is what God has put the peace in your heart for this call, I would like to tell her 4 important advices, if I may. Mm-hmm. First of all, I would like you to be to take good care of yourself. when you're flying, and they usually advise you when there is an emergency happening. What you need to do is you need to take care of yourself first before you are able to help someone else. So this is very important. You need to be to take good care of yourself, socially, spiritually, and so you should be able to help others when they are in need. Second thing, I'd like to tell her, be confident. You have God's grace with you. Third thing, I would like to tell her, you need to set your boundaries with love and humility. You cannot be the person saying yes all the time. And also, you shouldn't be the person rejecting any help all the time. So set your boundaries. I think people are, smart enough to read them. Set your privacies. Set how you want people to deal with you and how you deal with them. And the last thing I would like to tell her that is very important: be nice to everyone, befriend everyone. Don't have a certain category or certain people that are so close to you that people may think you have favoritism. So be kind to everyone, befriend everyone, but also set your boundaries with them. Be confident through the grace of God, and take good care of yourself.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Tasoni. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you, Maria. It was a pleasure and a blessing being with you, and God bless the service.
Thank you. Pray for us.